Your San Jose Sharks have completed their 2024-25 season. We'll attempt to break this one down, put a bow on this season, and a lot more painful stats to share with you as the NHL gets ready for the Stanley Cup playoffs. This is the Sharks season finale edition of Teal Town After Dark. Good evening, hockey fans all over the world and in Sharks territory. It is April 16th, 2025. And after 82 games, the San Jose Sharks end their 34th season in the National Hockey League by getting shut out by the Edmonton Oilers 3-0. We welcome you to Teal Town After Dark, your live interactive Sharks postgame. We do this after every game, so if you want to be part of the show, chat with us and fellow hockey fans all over the world and in Sharks territory on the YouTube page and the app. You can always follow us on the social. Shout out to Felix Chow for doing a hell of a job this season on the gifting. Appreciate you, bud. You can find that on the Blue Sky, Twitter, and the threads. You can always find us on all the other socials as well. And check us out on tealtownusa.com. Or if you want to support the pod, hit up Venmo at tealtownusa. And with that, I say... for now, hello. Oh, dear God. Who the hell's behind me?
Oh, no. Why is he here? Hi, AJ.
Do we know that guy?
We might know.
Who's that?
You freaking scared the crap out of me.
Oh my God.
Along with Jules and Landi, it's AJ. I'll let you guys kind of discuss this game before
we have to.
Do we have to? Well, yeah.
The Sharks were sleeping. The Edmonton Oilers didn't roster. Actually, they rostered Connor McDavid. So, maybe they did roster a lineup. I know they had McDavid, Bouchard. I mean, whatever. Henry. Yeah, I mean, they had part of their lineup. Nugent Hopkins. So, look. Landi, I'll just go to you. What were your thoughts on the game? Because I'm out of words at this point to say about this team.
What have I got to say about this team? We just witnessed a team that was ready to, get their golf clubs ready to go for the first round of golf at Thursday 10 a.m. because. There was no semblance of wanting to be in that game. It was just honestly a game where you're playing for yourself at some parts of it, or playing for pride at some parts of it, or just playing to get through the season. Because again, I didn't really see any kind of cohesion through the lines. And just not understanding, where they were at.
I mean, I don't want to make excuses. I don't blame this team for being checked out. But
they were checked out.
They were checked out, and that's the easiest way for us to summarize it. Ty Emberson has scored 2 goals against the Sharks.
His only 2 goals, if I'm not mistaken.
Only 2 goals were against the Sharks. Hi, AJ. Hi. Assisted by Connor McDavid and Jeff Skinner in the first period. Oh, they scored a goal every period. Shocker. So that goes in, and of course it's Ty Emberson with his 2nd goal of the year. And then Mac Jones scores his first as an Oiler, because of course he does. In the 2nd period to make it 2-0, assisted by Adam Henrique and Ty Emberson, because of course he does. And then to empty it.
That's so Sharks post-Teal syndrome. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. And then to finish it off, that's so Sharks. Corey Perry scores his 19th of the year, with Kapanen getting the assist. And AJ's dancing in the background. You can tell he's happy for this season. Hey, at least we're not talking about cookies.
That's true.
Shush. That was classic.
Was it
I-
though? You told me not to derail the show, and I instantly did.
What else is new?
Yeah, but what else do we got to talk about? You know, it's
Oh,
not like
yeah.
we have a game to talk about.
Celebrini won Rookie of the Year, right? And player.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm trying to pull up the releases. I believe he definitely got Rookie of the Year. I want to say he also got Player of the Year.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
And the media good guy
Is our Mario Ferraro?
Mario Ferraro, which let's be honest, that makes sense. Indeed,
Hasn't he won that award like every single season so far?
pretty much.
So, are we taking polls yet on if Mario Ferraro is going to be the next captain of the Sharks?
No, it's Toffoli, right? It has to be. How is this?
Landy, we did that last show actually.
Okay.
But yeah, I think Toffoli would be the guy. We'll see. A huge ovation, I should mention, since we're here. A huge ovation for Couture at the first TV timeout. Huge ovation. I think the first time I seen him get choked up ever. I mean, he was looking like he was about to bawl because he's just a huge turnout. I mean, we've seen sellouts. This one looked pretty close to being a sellout and everything. I'm going to see if get over here. Someone's happy that the season's over, I think. I don't know. But I don't. Yeah, I mean the Sharks finish up with the record. I didn't even get this going here. Finish up with the record of 20.
Did they actually end on an 11-game losing streak, or did I fully bullshit that?
No, you're not wrong. I mean,
oh God, I was right. That's unfortunate. No, I Sally Youngest. No, maybe they could take it in several directions, right? Like we talked about this last show. Like,
right.
I think Toffoli's the choice, and then when Celebrini turns 22, give it to him.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to give it to Celebrini right off the bat. Unfortunately, I just don't think that they're going to put that kind of pressure on him.
Okay. Let's talk about the positives from this year. The kids are good. Like Eklund, Celebrini, Smith, Askarov, I'll even throw out. The Kuda made the playoffs. Like we've seen improvements within the organization. Maybe not like as much as we wanted on the Sharks, but the Kuda have got more talent. They're in the playoffs this year. Last year they were not in the playoffs, so they made that jump, right? Like you look at the kids, you look at Celebrini, he's made a case for Calder. But Lane Hudson's probably going to win it because Montreal didn't do the funniest thing ever tonight and lose to the AHL Canes. Sure. Anyone? Landy, thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think overall I like the growth from the youngsters. I mean, I feel like in general the shifts at the trade deadline, I think, really messed up a lot of vibes. Zetterlund, taking Zetterlund out of the lineup, I still question that move. I still question, what we ended up getting for him. And I don't know if that was a messaging thing by Grier to say, hey, look, if you're an RFA, we're going to play hardball on you, and you have to kind of do that to a player in order to show the other players that you kind of mean business there. I don't know if it was like a scare tactic. I don't know if it was Zetterlund was showing them something off the ice, or who knows. I mean, I would love to be a fly on the wall and understand what the genesis of that move was. So where I'm going with that is I just feel like despite all the noise that happened, this season, as far as the losing is concerned, as far as will Couture play, won't he play, or any of the other type of ancillary things that went around the team, I feel like the kids did a good job insulating themselves and trying to work on their development despite how bad some of the play was on ice.
I want to address this right off the bat. No, we can't finish 32nd next year.
No, Marty. No,
Marty, I love you so much. I love all of you on the Discord so much. One, I don't think the Discord can handle another season like this. Two, I don't want to cover another season like this.
Well, and then I think that's the biggest thing, Jules, and I think that goes with just looking at Landi. He looks like he's pitched. But the thing is that
I see you on Sunday.
Bye, AJ.
Bye, AJ.
see you later. But the thing is that you can't go through this any further. I mean, you have 3 years as GM, Mike Grier. You've made some improvement. You got 1 win improvement, 5-point improvement, and it's just a tough part of you see a little bit, but then you see a little bit, 1 step forward and 2 steps back, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And you had 38 1-goal games. I mean, you win half of those. You win half of those. That's 38 points. You're right back in the playoff race. This team finished 40 plus points out of a playoff spot and plenty of cap space. They have to be better. 1, they have to spend. 2, they have to spend money. So it's just a matter of time before this team grows. And honestly, I think for our sake, for the fans' sake, I think even for the organization's sake, they need to be better. 21.
Yeah, I think
can't be
you're
7
absolutely right, and I want to piggyback off of what you said there, Puckguy. I mean, you've got to have some type of growth and movement. And thank you for the super chats, Jerry F. and Michael Molasses. We'll get to you in a second. But we really need to see marked improvement next year. And to me,
Yep.
this will be Grier's hot seat moment. The moment at which, I think that the organization in brain trust, i.e. Hasselplattner and whoever else is making the decisions on GM there, it's going to be the make or break season, I think, for this regime. I really do, because if you're given 2 first overalls and in the span of 3 years, plus you had a little bit of some accumulation from the previous regime. Now there was a lot, but it was Eklund and there was a few others. If you can't convert that into a 15 to 20 point improvement in the next season, I really do question what we're doing here. As far as, okay, are we not having the right type of development happening? Are we not getting the right type of complementary pieces? Or are we still suffering from the majority of veterans don't want to sign here? I don't think that should be the case anymore because of the talent that's now being accumulated. I think Toffoli was a good, illustration of that. So again, I think it really is make or break time for this regime, and we'll see whether or not they can pull it out.
Yeah.
Real quick, can I just say one thing? The Sharks, as Puckguy said, had 38 1-goal losses. What was it? I think we feel a lot better if at least 5 of those go our way, right? Like, here's
5.
the thing. We're looking at this like it's kind of doom or gloom, and I get it. I'm one of those people. I fully admit it. I didn't want to cover another 3-0 loss. But you look at the Sharks season, I haven't looked at, like, I don't know how many blowouts they had this year, who you can look it up if you want to, but the 38 1-goal losses, any of those go our, like, 3 of those go our way, 4 of those go our way. We look at the season completely different. They are maybe then arguably a top 6 winger away from, at least hunting for the playoffs.
And
So what needs to be done
building.
is we need to, and so right now it's important to understand and identify why this team is continually losing those close games. What is it about?
They relied on 2 children to score.
Well, I totally agree with that. However, I think that's more a symptom of the problem. What I'm trying to get at here, Jules, is I think that there are some fundamental issues still at play here as far as roster construction and as far as implementation of systems. I still really do believe that the team we've said it all. We've said it all year. We've been clamoring for a veteran defenseman who can really take a lot of these young kids under the wing and really show them how it's done as a high end impact type defenseman. And we've been sitting on this same podcast. I mean, me and you have done it for, I don't know, 15, 20 games, and some said the same damn thing. The blue line is just not up to snuff. It's not able to move the puck up to the forwards. So that puts you behind the 8 ball to begin with. So you can't really understand what kind of forward depth you have. So again, I think there's a chicken and egg syndrome here where we got to understand whether it's construction or if it's implementation of play or a little bit of both. Is there some issues with development? Because let's say, for instance, or not for instance, but let's understand and look at the players that got called up during the season and how well or lack thereof or not as well acclimated to the NHL level as they should have been upon their call up. Now, Cagnoni, I thought held his own pretty well. Again, I think that there's a lot to like about that package in the defenseman. But if he's like the only highlight of the guys that you're calling up, we got to have a serious talk about what that development pipeline is doing.
Okay, real quick, can I address something?
Sure.
Yeah.
Listen, Mike Grier, when he was brought, and I will defend Mike Grier for right now until I get proven otherwise. Mike Grier came in to a shit show with a ton of bad contracts, a ton of stuff that wasn't going well. We can all agree to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, like it was a shit show. Like I'm not the only one who thought that.
No.
And he had to eat some trades. That Burns trade, which was one of his first, he had to eat.
Awful.
It was an awful trade. But now you look at how much room is gone. You look at Burns's contract is gone. You look at Erik Karlsson, Tomas Hertl. Let's be honest. You're using Logan Couture to get you over the floor. The same thing with Vlasic. And honestly, Vlasic, until things get better, is going to be a kind of a placeholder until the defense gets better. And again,
I would say 5 years, right? I mean, that's the average lifespan that a GM gets before you really start to scrutinize, right? It's in that 5th year that they've got to really show that they can do something, right? Because I think when we talk about drafting, a forward normally takes 1 to 2 years. So you got to think that the groundwork that he came into was DW Jr. was who was running that draft 2 years prior to him, right? So you kind of have to build that lag time in. And so to me, that 5-year mark says that you've had 2 to 3 crops of forwards come up from your development system. And you've had at least 1 crop of defensemen, more maybe like 1.5 on your defenseman crop, because a defenseman normally takes 4 to 5 years to develop and ripen, right? So you want to be able to say, okay, he's had a couple successive generations come through his development system, and you understand what he's done with his draft capital, converting that into players. So I think really you can only make that call at year 4 to 5. However, that being said, I think we also we have to address the elephant in the room. As you guys said, he came in with a laundry list of issues that had to be fixed, whether that's Vlasic's contract, whether that was Burns's contract, whether that was moving Hertl or whatever, what have you. There was a lot of dead bloat. So, maybe that gives him an extra year of grace period. But like I said, in that year, he's coming into he'll be in year 4. So next year will be season 4 for him. So I expect to see a market improvement. Like I said, I want to see at least 10 to 15 points. That should be the bare minimum. I would love to see 20 points, come next season. I don't think it's much to ask for 10 games, from a team, right? 10 1-goal games to go your way. I don't think that's a lot to ask.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's kind of what a lot of people were hoping for this year. But then he got off to such.
That wasn't going to happen this year, though.
but and especially how it all started, that opening night where you had a 4-1 lead and then losing in overtime to St. Louis, then you lose Celebrini, for the majority of October. Al, you're spot on. Just not finishing last is an improvement. I mean,
Appreciate the Caps.
Yeah, yes. Good to see you, Al. Appreciate you. Thank you for the years you had here. But I mean, you need to have some a little improvement. You improved by 1 win from last year. You had 5 points. Grier's not getting fired anytime soon. I mean, unless there's something drastic that happens. So let's get that out of the head here on that. And NTQ03, bang on. Everything Grier has done has led to this offseason. He's freed up cap space. He's restocked the prospect pool. He's brought in solid vets and the goalie of the future. I mean, this is exactly it. And yeah, we were worried. Oh, we gave up a first-round pick. Well, that's okay. We already have Dallas's pick. So if you're a Sharks fan, you're hoping Colorado moves on because it'll increase the potential for that Blackwood pick to go from a 5th to the 4th. And Dallas's pick is closer and closer to doing something where you call a team at the last minute, like, hey, what do you want for this? Do you need to move salary? I mean, how many potential? I mean, I know the Jake Wallman thing was a fleece, but I mean, there are going to be owners and GMs saying, hey, I need to move off of this, and that's the thing. So, like he said at the trade deadline, it's time for the building to start.
And he said that, and literally in his press conference, not like word for word, but he was like, hopefully next year we're not having to like. And
but I want to ask something though. I want to ask something, and maybe this is unfair of me, but I think it needs to be asked. Next season, if you have Jake Wallman and Fabian Zetterlund on this team, are you not in a better position than you are at the end of this season, given what was the returns for those pieces? And if the objective really is to start building for that for next year and really to be the year to turn the corner, you need to have pieces in their 22s, 23s, 24s, 25s. I don't see a lot of that. I see very young, and I see middle of the road, almost done. So where is the meaty middle that's needed in order to make some really heavy lifting happen? That's my question. And I wonder what he's going to do in the offseason. And I'm wondering what he's going to do to address that vis-a-vis his moves come draft time as well. Because again, I think at the middle of the season, at that trade deadline, we saw him make the full light switch move to, okay, we're going to tank mode, because he got rid of those middle type pieces that you would use in order to bolster your content to push forward. So that's what I wonder. And so I just sometimes the moves say one thing and his mouth says another. There's just the disconnect, a little bit of disconnect.
Depends what he does in the summer, right? Because that was at the trade deadline. Like, it fully depends what he does in summer. Like, the Zetterlund trade, we all know it was crap. That's not going to ruin our rebuild, all right? Like, we can show him that.
No. I'm not saying that.
A Zetterlund trade, I know, but like a Zetterlund trade isn't going to change the course of this rebuild. Would it be nice to have Zetterlund? Yes, but we also hated Zetterlund when he came over. Like, he was not producing at all for us that first, 2 months or the last 2 months of the season after they traded Meyer, right? And then he came in the following year and was monster. Maybe Grier's hoping for the same thing with Zach. I know he hasn't shown much. I know, Ottawa fans were kind of relieved to not have him on the books, but I'm not going to start roasting a 21-year-old 6'4" center. You know what I mean? Based on, getting traded midseason so young. Like,
yeah, I'm just saying the type of player that's needed in order to move the team forward is not what they targeted.
Yeah, because they wanted to make it worse. They wanted to tank for one more season, and Grier exactly did that this trade deadline. If
And-
I believed Grier wanted to be competitive this year, he would have not traded Blackwood.
And I'm not saying that he wanted to be competitive this year. I'm just saying, what are the moves that are going to show me that there's going to be a market improvement? And what I'm saying and where I'm getting at this is there so much that needs to be changed or needs to be augmented in this offseason that he's not going to have enough time to address it all? That's what I'm concerned with, because
Okay.
he seems very methodical about the moves that he makes, right? And it doesn't seem like, I don't know. I've just from what I've seen so far.
So my point then that this, because I think we're kind of running around here. What are you wanting Grier to do in the off season? Draft aside, because we can't predict the draft, but what do you want Grier to do in the off season? We know he has to spend. That there's no question about that. He can spend up to the cap if he wants to. However, he also has to think long term with like Celebrini and Smith and Eklund, et cetera, as well.
I think he needs to make a serious run at Ekblad. And the reason why I say that is you need to have something that blue line, is gonna kind of muster around. So whether that's Ekblad or the other one of the other top defensemen in free agency, I think that they need to seriously look at making a real run at that. They have the money. I mean,
right. It's a matter of convincing teams or players to come to San Jose. Jules, I mean, along with getting a goaltender to go with Askarov, probably like a tandem of sorts. What else would you? Yeah, I mean,
Allen. Grab any defenseman that's a veteran. Don't care who. Trade some of our current defensemen so everyone can calm down. Listen, like the perfect offseason for Grier is to land Schaefer, sign a defenseman, sign a veteran forward to put like with one line gets to Foley, the other line gets this veteran forward. Wenberg is your 3C next year. Hopefully maybe you can get a veteran forward who's a center and he can be the second line center behind Celebrini, right? And then you sign a veteran goaltender. You get those three. You do some tinkers around the blue line. Maybe you land a guy like, Noah Dobson. Maybe you land Simon Nemec, right? Or like you land one of those, you land a young upcoming defenseman. Because I personally don't think Grier just made that Zetterlund move without, maybe thinking there's something he can tinker in the summer. Like, don't forget how that hurdle deal went down. We were all flipping our mouths like we normally do. And he uses that copy and paste for Askarov, right? Like,
yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I fully think the Sharks will be a playoff team in 2025, like 2028 or whatever. Like, that's just not what I'm going to do.
No.
But what I want to see is, sign a veteran goalie, sign a top 4 D-man, trade some of our current D-man to give room to maybe a Cagnoni, maybe a Thompson, maybe a Shakir. Like, the blue line's gonna, in my opinion, improve no matter what kind of happens next year, because if they do this the way that I'm saying, if they do this the way that I'm saying, you have a veteran defenseman with, some Ferraro or whatever, you have Shakir and someone else, and then blah, 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 blah. Naturally, you're going to see a little bit of an improvement. Like, there's no point in firing Grier 3 years into a rebuild where half his pieces aren't even his main defensive prospect isn't in San Jose. Like, his goaltender was playing in the AHL of the future or was on the Sharks with the horrid blue line. Like, I'm sorry, I'm a little frustrated because I'm tired, but if you fire Grier right now, or if we fire Warsaw right now, we're taking more steps back than we are taking forward by firing them.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm not calling for firings, right? I just think that we need to see pedal to the metal next season. That's all I'm saying. That we need to see a different outcome than the last 2 seasons.
And that's the biggest thing. And there has to be improvement next season. And I think the whole organization, whether you're the blue coat here, whether you're my friend Magdalena, thank you to her at the Sharks store, Jonathan Becker, Doug, why I keep saying Doug Wilson, Mike Grier, See, it happens. We get one Logan Couture tribute video and DW's on there, and I lose my mind. Sorry about that. From top on down, they know they have to be better. They know they have to be improved. We can't go for a third straight last place finish. As much as McKenna looks nice and great and shiny and
No.
everything, we can't
There's
do
always
that.
going to be a McKenna. There's
Exactly.
literally a
Exactly.
defenseman projected to go first in 2027. Landon
Exactly.
Dunpot. Look him up. He's actually ridiculously good. But
But
anyway,
I want us to
sorry.
be fighting for a playoff spot in March next year. You know, and Aaron, your spot's on too. You need to have patience with the rebuild. That's the toughest part. We've never been through this before in Sharks history. This is the painful part. And this is like the first 2 years at Cap House. I mean, although the pain of 71 losses, thankfully we haven't gone through that. But you know, the in that front presence making a thing. Also, FAs don't make Stanley Cup teams. No, the Sharks try to buy veterans into it in 96 and 97. It got them not a playoffs, like second to last place finish in 97. In 98, they made the playoffs and lost 6 games to Dallas. That's probably the footwork of what the Sharks are going to need to do. Bring in some vets like Toffoli, who can contribute, and be a part of that director of vibes locker room to get this team to where they want to go. But if you do anything overly drastic, I can't see that happening. It just isn't, And Vincent, he's like Warsaw is like the players. Vincent saying Warsaw needs to grow and improve like the player pool. That's key. They've all gone through a year.
Coach in the NHL.
Right. And he's had success everywhere in the ECHL, the AHL. It's going to take time. If anybody expected us to be, shoot for the playoffs be great, but it's not going to happen. Now, next season, you got to take a next step. That next step could be 25 wins. Heck, if we're really shooting, we're hoping for 30 wins. I'm not hoping for a 94 team that's going to get to the playoffs and become one crossbar for playing in the Final Four. That's not going to happen. It doesn't happen in today's NHL. There are too many good teams that, in the league to do that. But it takes time, and when it happens, it makes it much more sweeter. To go through pain like this, it makes it so much sweeter, guys. So
also look at what's his face, Jared Bednar, first season in Colorado.
Oh yeah.
They landed, I believe, Cale Makar the next year. So like in the lottery or like the draft or whatnot. So
I should start wrapping up from here. I'll let you guys finish up, but let me get through my little spiel and thank you here. For 10 years, we've been doing this, 10 years of friends and attempting to be professional, whatever you want to, call it. It's a passion project that we do. What you see are diehard Sharks fans taking their time out of their day to talk about our favorite team. And, in the coming months, we're going to see who the heck the Sharks will take in picks 1, 2, or 3, perhaps 28, unless Colorado advances, of course. So when you see guys like, when you see our crew like Mark and Dana, of course, Ian, on here during a 7:30 Pacific time game, they love this team and to talk about them at 1 o'clock in the morning, and kudos to Dana to, going, full makeup style with the earrings and everything to be a part of the Dangle podcast after the Sharks beat Toronto.
that was, I believe, their last one of the season.
I believe it is. That being said, I mean, we love doing this because it's about the passion. The passion is alive, and we can't wait to talk about it again very soon. You saw AJ earlier. Apparently, on Sunday it's the Pucknologist season finale, and AJ will have his things to say. But the world-class badass that co-founded this, along with myself and Chris and Gentry back in 2015, we didn't know what we were doing. We always went, and it can't hurt to ask. That's when we met Shalana, and we love her spirit. I mean, Jules, you and Shalana know each other.
I have coffee with her. She's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we also had on just a random DM I sent to Brody Brazil. after the Sharks beat the Penguins in 2015. And here he is throwing on filters like you look like a pirate dog, and I see Al in the chat. So, people have come and go like Rocket and Al, here and there. I appreciate you for being a part of the journey here. As for the Sharks, we appreciate you giving us the opportunity to be here. I mean, that goes back to Flavel and John Tortora looking at us as a resource, but kind of looking behind the teal curtain, Chief Marketing Officer Doug Benz, Jim Sparaco, who hooks us up with this setup here at the Tank. Thank you so much. And of course, on the media side, I know AJ talks to them a little bit more. Scott Emmer, Brandon Weiss, Kyle Stutzel, Sergio Almodovar, to allow us to be behind the scenes. We were the only, group to be on the teal carpet for Jumbo's retirement day and on the debut of Macklin Celebrini and Will Smith. That doesn't go without, twisting arms and begging, and me being practically on the ice for the Legends game to be when all the Legends came out to introduce. I to our supporters, our friends and family, thank you for your dedication in checking in, because it's been tough, but this poor thing,
Amanda,
we met 7 years ago. Today is our anniversary. The Sharks destroyed the Ducks 8-2, was it? Yeah. And the poor thing, she's just really excited to have me go to baseball games. We still have Barracuda playoffs, just letting, but to put up with this and seeing me being frustrated when we're up 5-1 on Nashville or everything, it's crazy. But thank you. To our whole crew, Ian, Hockey Jerk, we miss you. Kevin, I know you've jumped in. Landi, the guy who spells his name the right way, of course. My adopted daughter, Jules. Love you, hon. Dana, Mark, Felix, heck of a job on the gifts. Thanks so much for helping out with this. It's a lot more fun to do this than doing it solo. So, and to AJ, who's going to eventually depart in the summertime, I don't think he's going to come on now. We started with this journey 10 years ago. You made me very aware of my hiccups with the audio, spelling errors. You drove me nuts, but I know it was to make things as better down the road. So I appreciate all of you. And to our supporters, thank you so much. We have a ton of content ready to go in the off season. I know Amanda's giving me that look like, oh God, really? No. But I love you all. Appreciate you all.
Wait,
and
Puckguy, before you forgot to thank you, my dude. My
What's
adopted father, you forgot to thank you. Guys, I think Puckguy did maybe all the shows this year, or at least half of them for sure. So thank you, Puckguy. This channel doesn't happen without Puckguy, because you guys don't know the work he puts in behind it. So yes, you forgot to thank you, and that's yourself.
Oh, stop it. No. Jesse, Landy's seat making auto creaking fart noise during this.
Sorry.
Oh, but you know what, Landy? That's us. That's freaking us. Am I right? So, you guys finish this up. You got some graphics down there to talk about. So yeah. Oh, there's more down there. So you guys have fun. I'm about to get kicked out by blue vests. I can see them coming for me. Wait, why is Jonathan Becker coming right up? Okay, no, all right. Love you all. Keep it. No, I'm not. All right. Keep it real. Keep it teal. Real teal. Jules, back to you, Landi.
Favorite moment of the year.
That's right. There they are again. You owe me another $100. Thank you.
All right, the graphics that Puckguy pulled up, because I don't want to talk about the Sharks right now. Western Cup swimming. I did not read this before, so I was caught very off guard by the swimming. Former Sharks / CUDA in the playoffs: Colorado, Blackwood, Edmonton, Ty Emberson, Evander Kane, Jake Wallman. Minnesota, Jake Middleton, Gustav Nyquist. Winnipeg, Dylan DeMello. Dallas, Blackwell, Cece, Granlund. Los Angeles, the famous Kyle Burrows. Didn't we love Kyle Burrows, guys? Vegas, Tomas Hertl. Bay Area ties, Mason Marchment. So a lot in the West. Let's look at the Eastern Cup chompers. Puckguy, these graphics are too funny. Carolina, the Yeti, Brent Burns. Florida, Nico Sturman, Vitek Vanacek. Ottawa, Fabian Zetterlund. Let's not start a fight again. Toronto, Steven Lawrence. New Jersey, Brendan Dillon, Timo Meyer, Stefan Nason. Bay Area ties Austin Matthews with Toronto and Yanni Gord with Tampa. What is this? Drought continues. Longest cup droughts. Did not read this before. Did not read this ahead of time. Toronto with 58 years. Buffalo with 54 years. Vancouver 54. Philadelphia 50. Islanders 42. Calgary 36. Edmonton 35. San Jose 34. Ottawa 33. Montreal 32. Rangers 31. Nashville 27. And Winnipeg 26. So, I mean, Toronto has a chance to beat that drought. Buffalo's gone, Vancouver's gone, Flyers are gone, Islanders are gone, Calgary's gone, Edmonton has a chance, Sharks are gone, Ottawa has a chance, Montreal has a chance, Rangers are gone, Nashville's gone, and Winnipeg has a chance to undo their cup droughts. Who are you rooting for, Landy?
Probably, I don't know, maybe Winnipeg. Yeah, I don't know. Winnipeg, Dallas. I don't know.
Landy, you should tell everyone to do the playoff bracket challenge.
Yeah, everybody do your playoff bracket challenge.
I believe it is live because all the seeds are solidified, I believe. So I don't remember the bracket, but I believe we're gonna have Washington versus Montreal. Oh, real quick, Georgiev Grier has told him that the Sharks are moving on from him. He's a UFA. Georgiev will be a UFA. The first great move of the Sharks offseason. I think we can all agree.
The first domino to fall.
He won't be back next year. And I think we all saw that coming. Also wanted to point out the Oilers all shook Logan Couture's hand.
Well, hey, you know what? Good on Corey Perry. I mean, that guy we hated. I mean, as fans, I think I wonder sometimes about the way he conducts himself, but that's another conversation for another day. The fact that he was able to, say something to Cooch, and after all the years of battling and stuff that those two have had in California teams, and I think that's pretty cool. And good on the Oilers for staying back and congratulating Cooch. We didn't really talk about it, but I mean, I think honestly, talk about a guy who just gave everything he could to his team, and talk about a guy who bleeds teal and does it for the love of the game. I am, I've always been impressed with Logan. I watched him since he was a young Worcester Shark, a kid that I remember getting drafted when I watched him. And I just can't believe he's retired. It's like you just watch somebody's whole career and it just happened in like the blink of an eye. It's funny how that kind of works. But I wish we could have seen him peak one more time. But alas, I think he's going to kind of be going into the Peter Forsberg type player where it's, you just really wish he could have ended the game on his own terms.
For sure, yeah. And that press conference, kind of like how we touched on yesterday, was great. The Sharks always do a good job. With that, if you want to listen to us again, go out and check us out on all the social media platforms. Smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. We'll be live in the summer. We'll be live, I believe, during the CUDA playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. Locker room cleanout is tomorrow, so there will be quotes and there will be probably something said that sparks the entire fan base. But yeah, we will probably do something after each round of the playoffs like we did last year. I'm sure. Did we miss a super? Oh, all right.
No, we got to go through a couple. So I think Jerry and Mike. I did make a couple call outs, but I don't think we actually put them up on
yes.
So Jerry F was, thanks for all the great coverage this season. So thank you, Jerry F, for the super chat. We really appreciate it. And again, you have been an OG with you and your son, and so again, we try to keep it as PG as we can because we know it's a diverse audience out there. But again, you stuck through it thick and thin, and we appreciate you. And Mike Molasses, another OG. I mean,
Yep.
I want to off-season myself. The pain
Yep.
is over.
Okay, Molasses.
I think this off season, you know what, the off season always brings renewal for me, right? I think I always go in the last 5 years since we've made the playoffs, every year's been the same, where it's just a disappointment and you're just like, ugh, finally it's done. But every off season you go through that renewal, you get your heart broken by the Giants if you dabble in that sort of thing or what have you, and you just kind of re-energize and take some time to re-energize the battery, watch the draft, things like that, and then we come back into the year fresh again and ready to see our Sharkies play because we've seen them or haven't seen them in months. So again, I'm looking forward to the off season for that renewal. But I'm also looking forward to see what the team does and how it sets the pieces up for this season. Because I think, I think maybe sometimes some of us disagree on how we get there. But I think, again, we all just want to see the team improve. And how that happens, I don't really think matters so much as we just need to see something, right? And we need to see some kind of life this off season. So I think just take the off season to take some time, recharge the batteries, maybe brush up on some prospects, and it's going to be a really exciting season to start off with. Both Smith and Celebrini, coming into the next campaign with so much steam, under their under their wing, or so much air under the wing, so much steam in the engine, whatever motto you want to say. But they did a hell of a good job this season as rookies, and there's not really much more that you could ask for in the development from both of those players, and it's just going to set them up.
Yeah. And I think that's a great way to end the San Jose Sharks 24-25 season. We'll be back here in the summer, and for the last time, at least until October. Thank God. Keep it real. Keep it teal. Keep it real, teal. Have a good night, everyone. Oh, I clicked the wrong button. Hold up. Give me.